Okay, good day, and today we are going to be talking about the geography of India. I am Mrs. Battlespa, and today we are going to focus on the following main points, which is all about the geography and how it affects the Indian people. I'm referring to the people of the nation of India. We're going to talk today about the Indian subcontinent, the physical regions of India, the Ganges, the Brahmaputra, and the Indus rivers, as well as the monsoons that happen in India on a yearly basis. All right, so let's begin as we take our journey to India. India is part of a subcontinent of Asia. So if you look at a map, the way that India is located, it's actually below kind of the rest of the nation, of the rest of the continent of Asia. It's also so large that it is almost considered a whole different part of that region. It is separated from Asia by the Himalayas and the Hindu Kush mountains, which we're going to go into a little bit further, which is another reason why it's a subcontinent. So it's very separate from the rest of Asia. And here we are. So we can kind of think of, this being the subcontinent. You see here the mountain ranges that are separating it from the rest of Asia. All right. It's divided into three main physical regions: the northern mountain region, the Indus-Ganges plain, which is where we're seeing our waterways and flatlands and major riverways, and the Deccan plateaus. I know what I'm doing, I swear. So those are the three, and here's the nice little picture. So those are the three main regions we're going to be looking at. So let's start in our northern mountain region that we talked about. This is where we're going to see a whole bunch of what's going to protect India later on, because it's going to be hard to invade India due to this mountainous terrain to its north. The northern section here, I know it's in the words a little bit, I apologize. We have the Himalayan mountains, and they are the tallest mountain range in the world. There are 20 mountains that are over 24,000 feet high, big mountains, and there they are. Ooh, Of course, the largest of all those mountains is Mount Everest, largest mountain in the world, at over 29,035 feet in the air. And it is still growing due to the shifting of the Earth's crust. It is only getting bigger. Unlike our eastern mountains here on the East Coast, which are slowly eroding, our mountains get smaller as the Himalayas get larger. So the Edmund Hillary and his partner, Tanner Norgay, were the first one to climb Mount Everest, or known to climb Mount Everest, in 1953. And there they are. And lots of people try to climb Mount Everest. Many of them die. The hike itself, I've never climbed Mount Everest, but I hear the hike itself is actually relatively easy. The challenge comes from the fact that there's not enough air. And so people really have a hard time when they are climbing it to breathe. However, the climb itself is more like an easygoing walk. You also have people called Sherpas, who are local native people who carry a lot of your gear for you nowadays. So it's really a matter of whether you can just afford to do it. If you can afford to do it, you can probably do it because of all the technologies that's out there to help us. But this, geographically speaking, creates the northern border of India. Again, it keeps them safe from from invaders, and it is an important source for the rivers in India. So just like here in the United States, our mountains supply us with fresh drinking water based on snow collected through the winter, and then comes out in the springtime as water for the year. This is the same thing as far as the water that the snow that is melted off the Himalayas becomes important rivers for the rest of India. And these are some of the important ones: the Ganges, the Furnace, the Indus, and the Brahmaputra rivers. So the other important mountains are the Hindu Kush, which actually, I shouldn't hold me. Ooh, Hindu Kush, yay. And their name actually is implying their danger, and because Kush means death. They're extremely rugged and really hard to go about. But here, and you can do something similar to this in the United States as well. We have a couple of paths through some of our national parks, particularly Denali in Alaska. But you can see people driving on this road. Doesn't it look fun and safe? They are a source of water for the rivers in India, which then leads us to the second range of the geography in India, which is the plains. The Indo-Ganges Plains, which is, they're getting their water. These are two rivers. And this area is going to be essential to creating a water supply and farming in India. So this is referring to the area around the two river systems. This is the best farmland in India. There they are. Yay for farming, yay for farming. Those are completely naturally blue horns. Just kidding. And there's no coincidence that this is the most populated area in India, because with the farming, people are able to live there easily. What do they farm? They farm rice, wheat, cotton, sugarcane, tea, and this is a rice paddy. And in case you're wondering, basically what you do is you pick up these little green spots, and rice is on the bottom of those, in case you're wondering how you grow rice. So probably, arguably, the most important river in India is the Ganges River. It's important for its water supply, but also for its spiritual reasons, which we're going to talk about now. It does begin in the Himalayas and gives the plains their waterway. Many, many cities, towns are built along the Ganges River because fresh water is important. However, well, we'll get into that, it doesn't always stay fresh. This is the holiest of rivers in Hinduism, and similar to that of Christianity, baptisms are done in this river, and it's used for bathing, drinking, purification purposes. And yes, we are going to get into the fact that that doesn't look like the purest water to me either. But let's get through it before we get to that part of it. So it's a holy river, very important and used multi-purposely. This is where the goddess Ganges lives spiritually, and Hindus believe that they must purify themselves in this river at some point in their lives, or more than once. Again, not far removed from the idea of baptism in Christianity, baptism in the River Jordan or any other such place. And you travel down to the sacred ghats or steps, and there they are. So you walk down these steps to do your bathing. And again, it's not just to get clean as far as get the dirt off you, but it's to get clean spiritually. You wash away your sins. There's the fine young lady there washing away her sins, purification process. And they also burn their dead, and then they put the ashes in the water as well. There you go. And yes, dead person here. Okay, so you are dead, you are burned, ashes then thrown into the river. Now, if you're beginning to think like, okay, might be a holy river and you use it for purification, but it looked awfully dirty. Well, it is awfully dirty. It is one of the most polluted rivers on earth, in fact. There's raw sewage, industrial waste, dead animals, humans, and humans that have poisoned the water. Lovely. Look at that. Wonderful. Doesn't that make you want to purify yourself in there? I wouldn't even want to walk into that. Let alone become spiritually pure in that. But that is the unfortunate part of it. There's toxic chemicals and bacteria in there. It's actually dangerous to people who bathe in it and drink in it. As we said, it's part of their religious belief to bathe and drink in the Indus River. So this is a problem. You can get hepatitis, typhoid, cholera. All those things are common from the Ganges. And many Hindus travel upstream so that they can purify themselves a little bit better, because it's a lot clearer and cleaner and less polluted. So they're moving towards northern towns like this. So the Indus River is another important river in India. Again, it starts in the Himalayas as well, and travels through the country of Pakistan. And there's that river. There's the Indus River. It was formerly a part of India, now moving into Pakistan, but it still goes through India. It's important to the first civilizations of India. So without the Indus River, India, as we know, would never have developed. And these are the civilizations that started in India, based in the Indus River, the Mahatmadara and the Hapsfid civilizations. And there they are, ancient Indian civilizations. Again, when I'm referring to India, I'm referring to the country of India, not Native American people. These civilizations were important for farming, trade, and transportation. This is like some of the first civilizations in the history of the world. Today, this area is some of the frontline problems between India and Pakistan, which we can kind of keep up to date with in our current events. There's definite tension between these two nations. And they're fighting over the cotton fields in Kirshma. There they are. Oh, when those cotton fields get rotten. Okay. Here we have the Brahmaputra River. And again, starting in the Himalayas, and travels through northern India to the country of Bangladesh. Ooh, very pretty. Very nice. Fertile soil. Again, important for farming, trade, transportation. And when I'm referring to trade and transportation, you can travel on these rivers. I haven't really discussed that. So like the farming was pretty obvious, but transportation meant that you can get from one place to another. So if the river itself flows from the Himalayas to Bangladesh, that means you can travel on this river from the Himalayas to Bangladesh, making it really easy to get through and around. It's important to Hinduism, like the Ganges, represents some of the major gods of Hinduism. Ooh, yay. And it preserves life along its riverbanks. That's nice. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to be looking at is the weather topics, or like the big weather system. And India is known for monsoons. I've seen this on Regents exams listed as like simple as connect a monsoon with a country it's related to, the answer is India. So if you see monsoon on the Regents exam and an option is India and no other country that relates to that, India, China, England, and South America, Argentina, it doesn't matter what the next few lines are, the answer is India. But it is always useful to continue to read that. But monsoons are known in India, but what the heck are they? So India has two major seasons, summer, which is hot and very wet, and winter, which is cold and very dry. And their cold is very different than my cold and your cold. And this climate is caused by the monsoon seasons. And monsoons are seasonal winds. And these seasonal winds are brought up from the Indian Ocean, and they bring with them large amounts of rain. So when we see monsoons and we think about it, a lot of us think of monsoons and we do think of rain, but we have to remember that it actually has to do with the wind, and it happens to, in that aspect, bring a lot of rain with it. So here you see the monsoon coming up and into India, and from here this is where it's bringing the rain, the wind and rain. And during the winter, it comes from the lands that are very dry. Woohoo! So it's coming from the other direction. And these, although it sounds really negative, monsoons are essential for surviving, because with this you're getting the rain for many of the time, the rain that brings the water for farming for the whole year. We've talked about the importance of the rivers that come from the importance of the mountains, but this is another way of getting that water that's needed for farming. It does create lots of floods at the time, and also cyclones, which are very close to our hurricanes. Eastern India and Bangladesh suffer from damages almost every year. And again, it's a third world country. They don't have the best infrastructure, and infrastructure, things like buildings, roads, transportation systems like we do. So it's always hard for them to lose what little they might have. Villages and farms are flooded and destroyed. There's overflowing of the rivers, which is, again, it has moments of being really important because that creates the fertile land. So if they were to stop that, they wouldn't have the fertileness of the land itself. And this of the two main rivers. And here we go. Here's where we see some flooding going on. And that's it for India. Again, we talked about India as a subcontinent, that it was kind of removed from the rest of Asia, both physically and a little bit mentally, because it's kind of got some different things. We talked about the physical regions of India, the mountains, the plains, and the plateaus. And we talked about the main river systems in India, and we also talked about the seasonal rains, the monsoons, the seasonal winds and the monsoons in India. So hopefully this has helped a bit, and we're going to continue to talk a little bit about India and do some labeling of some of the things that we've seen. All right, I hope everything's well. If you have any questions, let me know. Also, feel free to rewind and look at this video again. All right, have a great day. Bye.